Pennsylvania's infrastructure is in desperate need of repair. The General Assembly recently addressed the need through Act 89 of 2013, which will take effect January 1st and fund necessary repairs to our roads and bridges. State Representative Ron Miller from the 93rd Legislative District voted to support the legislation and is here to discuss the need for it. Representative, this is not a Republican or a Democrat issue, as evidenced by the clearly bipartisan vote. Why did it get your support?
You're correct. Road safety, transportation infrastructure, even road maintenance, as far as whether or not we're going to hit potholes going down the road. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican, an independent. So the key point is we need to address these issues. And mainly in York County, it's a congestion issue, which is a safety issue. We do have some bridges that are weight limited, but not a whole lot. We've done a good job of addressing those. But the key point is it's the congestion and the resultant safety issues with traffic backing out onto Main Line 83, things like that.
You have kind of a unique perspective on this. You sit on the York Area Municipal Planning Organization. What type of an angle does that give you and allow you to see in relation to this legislation?
Well, I think all legislators in York County pay close attention to the highway infrastructure, but by sitting on YAMPO, it allows you to look at each one of the projects that's being proposed and how they're being prioritized and have some additional input. But it really forces you to focus on all the infrastructure needs. So yeah, it's a unique perspective.
Most people are, I'm sure, well aware of your support for prevailing wage reform, and there is a prevailing wage component to what was House Bill 1060 originally. Why is that so important?
Well, I think in the end, it came down to being very important to be able to get the necessary votes to pass this legislation. The main people it's going to help right now, we raised the threshold from the $25,000 that it was set at in the early 1960s to $100,000. Now, for inflation, it should have been adjusted up to $185,000. But $100,000 was the best we could do as part of this legislation. The main people who will help are the boroughs and townships out there. Most state projects are going to be much higher than $100,000, but there's a lot of projects in our small boroughs, townships, even some of our cities where the cost comes in at under $100,000. Some people argue that prevailing wage doesn't add to the costs of a road project. I believe testimony over the past couple years has proven that it does add to that. But the real proof's going to be over the next couple years as our municipalities see an additional 60% by year 5 in their liquid fuels money to address borough and township road needs. We'll also see that they can do more of those projects with this prevailing wage component. And I think that will really highlight the issues with prevailing wage. So it was a very important part of it. The main reason it had to be in was to get the votes.
Finally, let's talk projects. And obviously, in your district and in your county, there's a glaring one in a road that you drive every day when you come to Harrisburg, and that is I-83.
Yeah, I-83, anybody that drives 83 knows that it's become very congested. And it's not a recent phenomena. It's been going on for years. What has become obvious over the past couple years is where you had peak periods, morning rush hour, evening rush hour, and the rest of the time it wasn't too bad. It's very hard to identify rush hours anymore. It's constantly busy, constantly jammed with traffic, and that's somewhat a good thing because we are at the hub of a lot of commerce. A lot of interstate commerce goes through York County. It shows that we have an economy that's not too bad, even though we'd like to see it improve. So that's a good thing, but we have to be able to handle all of that traffic. I would also just quickly point out that there is a timing of lights on Route 30 that's going to be addressed in the not too distant future, and that'll really help alleviate some of the congestion. So anything that we can do in projects like this to alleviate congestion, which moves traffic off of Main Line 83 faster, and then we have to look at other interchanges like the Shrewsbury interchange and the upgrades that are needed there. So hopefully it'll allow a lot of these projects to be expedited and move forward.
If you have questions about this or any other legislative issue, we'll show you Representative Miller's contact information in a few seconds. I'm Scott Little. Thanks for spending 5 minutes with State Representative Ron Miller.